Hello everyone and welcome to another review. As you can see from the title, today we're going to go ahead and review John Varvatos Vintage. I wanted to squeeze out 2 reviews this week, but it's looking like I'm going to only have a chance to squeeze out one, maybe another one tomorrow, but in either case, I've been wanting to review this fragrance for a while. Here it is, John Varvatos Vintage. I've had this in my collection. I've done all the research on it. So with that, let's go ahead and get right into the actual review. So this fragrance was released in 2006. The creator of the fragrance was, and pardon my pronunciation, Rodrigo Flores Ru. He's responsible for creating most of the other John Varvatos fragrances. He's created some Tom Ford fragrances or taken part in them, like Neroli Portofino is one of them. He's done Clinique Happy for Women. He's all over the place in terms of creating fragrances. So if you look him up, you'll see that he's got quite an extensive resume, and it's pretty decent, pretty impressive when you actually take a look at it. Again, fragrance was released in 2006. This is actually the 2.5 milliliter. You can also find a 4.2 milliliter. Retail prices for this is going to run you $80 for the 4.2 and $60 for the 2.5. So that said, again, this is one that you can find a lot cheaper running around. I think I saw the 4.2 for around $30 from, an online site. So you could definitely look out, shop around. You can find this a lot cheaper than what the retail price actually suggests. So definitely one. Now, John Varvatos, it's a line of clothing primarily. He's a popular designer. He's created, a lot of stuff, a lot of fragrances, a lot of clothes, and that's kind of where this is coming from. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the notes for this fragrance. The notes. The top we have wormwood, basil, rhubarb, queen, fennel, and pepper. For our mid, we have juniper berries, lavender, cinnamon, jasmine, orris root, and green leaves. And for our base, we have tonka bean, tobacco, suede, patchouli, oak moss, basil fir, and wood notes, or woody notes. So, looking at that, and all that said and done, it's really a lot of notes, and a lot of the notes, I'm pretty sure a lot of people aren't familiar with or even have a clue what they are. That's perfectly fine. At the end of the day, obviously the scent is really what you're looking for and what it reminds you of. At the end of the day, there are 3 or 4 primary notes that I pick out of this one. I get a really heavy tobacco, leather suede-ish type scent with rhubarb. Now, rhubarb, it's really hard for me to describe rhubarb because it's almost like a little bit of a fruity type of a feel, but it's got sort of a kick to it. It's got this weird kick that I haven't really been able to describe, but at the plus side, it's so pronounced that I'm always able to represent or to recognize rhubarb whenever I smell it, and that's really what I get from when I smell this one. It's heavy tobacco, heavy leather suede, and rhubarb. Combination of that gives it a very manly scent. So for this fragrance, we're talking about a manly scent that comes off very masculine, very mature, not overly mature where you might think an extremely old gentleman or an old fogey is going to go ahead and wear. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about an air, of definitiveness, an air of confidence when you're actually wearing this fragrance. It's got a little bit of sweetness that'll kind of give it a little bit more of an inviting feel, so that you're not too serious, but it's a serious guy with a smile on its face. That's really what John Varvatos Vintage comes across. Out of all the John Varvatos, I actually like Vintage the best. John Varvatos, the original, it's a very interesting scent. I like it. But Vintage is really the one that takes the cake. I've got Rock Volume, I've got the Silver Edition, I've got a bunch of them, and really I like Vintage the best out of all of them. That said, as you're going to see, it does suffer from some performance issues, but we'll get to that in a bit. Sprays, I generally go about 4 or 5 sprays. Now, because it kind of has that dark masculine type scent, and because, well, what the hell, we'll just talk about it now. Because it doesn't really have good performance, the projection is pretty close to the skin on me, but it does leave a nice little scent trail, but the projection is still pretty close to me. But for that, I like to use this one going on nights out where I don't want to be too pronounced, where I don't really want to scream and shout to everyone else. If I know it's going to be a close occasion with people sitting close to me, then I'll definitely take a look at this one and try and wear this one. But if it's not in such situations like that where where I want somebody to smell me from a decent distance away, then I'm not going to wear this. You may have a little bit better I guess you could say, success with this on your skin, this is definitely one that you want to give it a try. But I'm pretty sure, on me at least, it's the rhubarb, because tobacco and suede generally projects pretty well on my skin. This just doesn't have the protection for me to actually bounce out and come out. This is one that you can wear year-round. By year-round, I mean, you know, whether it be hot, whether it be cold, you name it, you can actually wear this. This is not one that's going to become really cloying when it becomes, you know, really hot. So it's not going to choke anyone out at the same time. In fact, when it comes really hot, it actually benefits a little bit more from, you know, the projection from coming across and from people smelling you. So it does pretty well in that. But at the same token, you know, it's nice for the cold weather too, and it really fits in terms of how it smells for the cold weather. So it's one you want to consider for that. For the occasion, again, I said date fragrance is one that I can definitely see, and a night out fragrance. Take a look at those two for your occasions, but they're nice. Age group wise, I definitely want to say steer away from it if you're a high schooler, or even if you're a younger college one. Again, all this really depends on is your persona. So if you could pull this off, by all means, go for it. If you're a 13-year-old, 14-year-old, or whatever age, if you can pull it off, by all means, go for it. But I do say that it does smell a little bit mature smelling. So it may not necessarily fit and meld with what people think and when they smell on you. So when I took this to Times Square, had people smell it, wide range of people, 100 people actually smelled it. Of the people who smelled it, there were 73 people who loved it. They absolutely loved it. Comments were seductive, sexy, manly were the three main compliment that you get from this one. There were 13 people, or sorry, there were 10 people who disliked it. The people who disliked it said that it smelled strange, and I'm pretty sure it's because of that rhubarb note in it that they said that it smelled strange. But either way, they said that it smelled strange. Some said it smelled too old. Others said that it was weak, that it was off-putting, and actually 2 or 3 actually said that it was too strong, basically. So go figure. That's what you can take from it. And there were 17 people who were neutral, basically, who kind of had a mix. They thought that was a little bit, you know, in between, and that it didn't really stand out. Overall, for a rating for this fragrance, I'm going to actually have to give this one, I temper this. Now, I said earlier, I'm going to give this one a 7 out of 10. The reason why I'm giving it a 7 out of 10, and I was actually going to give it a 6 out of 10, is because, in my opinion, it really, really depends on your skin. If the performance is not good on your skin, I would probably shy away from the fragrance, just because it's a shame. It smells excellent. I think it's a very unique smelling scent, and I think it's one of the best designers that you can get on the market, especially for it. It's not very versatile, which is another strike against it. You know, it doesn't really fit just going out casually and, you know, just doing errands and stuff like that. It doesn't really fit for scenarios like that. It doesn't really fit for work, at least in my opinion. I can see how some people might think that it fits for work too, and, you know, it's all about opinion. So either way, take that. But at the end of the day, performance really hurts this. And it really hurts, performance in general really hurts the John Varvatos line. If you're not, you know, one for people really smelling you all the time, then I think you'll be absolutely fine with a lot of the John Varvatos line. They really excel in terms of creating a unique smelling, manly scent that really fits with like a persona with an aura. You can wear jeans and a blazer and, you know, a nice dress shirt, nice shoes with John Varvatos. That really comes across as the image with this. In fact, if you really want to think about it, I think of John Varvatos more along the lines of Tom Ford. Where I would wear my Tom Ford fragrances, I would almost always wear John Varvatos with it too, even with a suit, stuff like that. I can see it. But outside of that, not really that versatile, and it doesn't really have that projection, which is why it gets the marks that it gets. Okay? So if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free, message me, leave me a note down below, do whatever you gotta do. Thank you, take care of yourselves, and you have a great day.